This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the President, CEO, and largest shareholder of Banyan Gold, Miss Tara Christie. Tara, how are you today?
I'm really well, thank you. And yourself?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking. Look, historic start to the month, right? We have gold closer to 2,900 than it is to 2,800. Definitely has momentum. I'm of the belief that we'll see 3,000 before we see 2,500 again. And that puts Banyan in a really enviable position. You already had millions and millions of ounces of gold, but now you're hitting into some high grade zones. You had a release here recently of 39.7 meters of 1.92 grams per ton gold. And it wasn't a one off, right? You had another hit of 40.5 meters of 1.43 grams per ton gold. It's shallow, it's high grade. It complements what you already have. I would love for you to provide the context of the recent release here.
Yeah, thanks. And that's exactly what we planned to do this year, was to show that there's a really significant high grade component of this resource right near surface that, will really drive the economics of this project. We're really excited about the results because, as you said, we think we achieved what we said we were going to do, and that now that we have an even better understanding of our geological model, we're able to demonstrate that, and it'll show in our resource update as well as in our PEA that we're planning for fourth quarter. So we're pretty excited that these holes have come out how they have.
You have to be satisfied that you planned the PEA for the fourth quarter, because I think you're walking into a phenomenal gold price environment. Can you speak to the work that's being done on that front?
Sure. We've been thinking about our PEA for the last couple of years. We started, doing some initial scoping study work and preliminary engineering, and using that to guide the metallurgical work that we're doing. And now we're going to have the resource update and then be able to run that PEA. So lots of behind the scenes work being done so that we can be strategic in the work that we're doing on site. And one of the key things was really demonstrating this high grade areas that would form the starter pits that really drive your payback and your IRR. And yeah, this gold price, like $4,100 Canadian, the 3-year trailing average is like 2,100. That's pretty US. It's pretty exciting gold environment to be even thinking about what the economics and the sensitivities of your projects are. You get people talking about much higher gold prices than even we have right now, which is a pretty fabulous gold price. And then you look at some of these projects where they're very, very big. And that's going to be compelling to lots of these major companies out here that haven't replaced their resources and reserves and are now very significantly cash flowing. M&A, I think, is going to start to rear its head in this industry, and it's been a while since that's happened. And we're seeing generalist investors actually call and want to learn about gold stocks. And that's the first time in a lot of years. It hasn't been us talking to just the seasoned mining people that we see at all the same conferences. So things are changing for sure.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I had the pleasure to chat with you briefly at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. And look, I couldn't help but notice that the booth stayed busy at Banyan, right? You had people every time I walked by. It was absolutely packed. That speaks, I think, to the visibility of the company, but it also speaks to the quality of the resource and the leverage that the company and its assets provide here in this gold price environment. For those that may be newer or newish to the story, can you give us just a brief overview of the resource profile and why a major would want to come in and have a Banyan in its portfolio?
Sure. So our global resource is a 7 million ounce inferred resource, and we are on the cusp of updating that here in the second quarter, where you'll see some both indicated, which is important because that gives people, it's a higher category of resource. It has more confidence geologically in those ounces. And then, we'll both add ounces and show that there's some higher grade zones within this. Why is a major interested? Well, when I started my career, people used to be interested in million ounce deposits. Now that threshold of being considered tier one is kind of a 5 million ounce threshold for some of the larger companies to even think about investing the capital. So here we are with 7 million ounces, and you can see our deposits open. So I arm wave and say the potential for 10 million ounces is there. And then it's really, what's the valuation? We're currently trading at $5 an ounce, maybe a little bit more than that in a couple as the market changes. But compared to some of our peers in the Yukon who are trading at $100 per ounce or more, we're still pretty undervalued. And why is that? Well, we had those external factors in the Yukon last year, which weren't about us, but gave a little bit of uncertainty. That's starting to resolve. And I think, you look at which companies are going to, have the opportunity to re-rate the fastest. Those that are undervalued and which have solid assets in safe jurisdictions. And ours has the benefit of having infrastructure, roads and power, hydropower already on the property. Those are huge advantages. And that's what majors are looking for. Properties with infrastructures, big enough resources where they're making generational investments in capital is what, you're going to see move first as M&A starts to pick up in this exciting gold cycle.
Not a lot of companies out there in a great jurisdiction that are on the march towards a 10 million ounce or more resource. It's a great story. You eat your own cooking. You are still the largest shareholder, I believe. Is that accurate?
I'm the largest individual shareholder. I have two funds, Fidelity and Franklin, which are larger, but that's a real testament to the quality of this asset because they did significant due diligence before making that investment, and they don't generally invest in companies sub 100 million market cap. So I think that's a very strong endorsement of Banyan. I put my money where my mouth is, so I've got over 2 million in cash. I didn't get given my shares, and when you're looking at juniors, it's really important to understand how management acquired their shares. So they actually have real cash, or were they part of the founding and got early shares? I'm the third CEO, so I didn't get any founding shares, but I really believe in this project, and it's something that I look for as an investor: is how much skin in the game does management have? So I think that is something that's important to talk about.
Couldn't agree with you more. So great to have you on. Looking forward to chatting here. What comes next?
Well, we are in the throes of our exploration planning. Really exciting. I love when you get your results and we have this problem of having lots of options. Do we grow the resource? Do we get more indicated? Do we drill some deep holes? Do we look at some of these geophysical anomalies? Do we do some greenfield exploration? Do we take some big step outs? All of that is all part of our conversation that we're having with our geological team. And I always find that really exciting in the spring, and we go through and decide what's going to give us the most torque for our shareholders. That's exciting. We've got money in the bank to execute our drill program. We're on track for that resource update in Q2, and then Q4 that PEA, and then we'll even have news flow into 2026. And then, we're working hard to make sure people get the message that our project is a mill project. It's a little bit different, that overhang that was really holding us back last year is clearing up pretty quickly. And we've got just so many targets to look at. And then we'll announce our plans a little bit closer to when we start drilling. I really love the exercise of getting our team together and debating how we're going to spend that money, refining drill holes, looking at targets. It always gets me really excited. So look forward to telling people once we've gone through that process.
Champagne problems, indeed. It's going to be a fun 2025. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
All right. Chat again soon. Take care.
Yep. Thanks.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.